This is 730 Tea with Ree.
So I'm like, oh my god, I'm literally stranded in a flooding canal.
He's like, oh, I hope you don't mind. I invited my friends.
When he pulls up to pick me up, he's in a weird-looking van.
Ree is spilling all the tea. Hello, everybody, and welcome to 730 Tea with Ree. If you are new here, I'm so happy that you're here. Whew. Today has been a nice day so far. It's been a really good week and everything. I've been looking forward to a lot of new things that are coming up. I actually just put a deposit down for a trip that I'm going on. It's like a little mini getaway to Montauk. It's actually a spiritual retreat, which I've gone on similar retreats before like this, actually with the same host. I went on this spiritual retreat in Italy about 2 years ago. Yeah, it was in 2021. I went in September and I went to Tuscany, and the host who did it, her name is Lindsay Lotus. I'm shouting her out because she's a close friend of my sister and I's. We went to school with her our whole lives, and she hosts these really, really cool retreats. And when we went to the one in Tuscany, it was a home filled of spiritual healers. But that is going to be a story for another episode, because that is a very loaded story, and it's a really cool story. A lot of cool things happened and everything, so I'll definitely have to fill you guys in on what happened on that trip. But I'm really excited for the one that's coming up to Montauk, because we're going to be doing a lot of meditations, a lot of, soul rejuvenating, things like that and everything. So I'm hyped. But before I get into today's episode, I just want to let you guys know what this podcast is about. So this podcast is all about spilling tea and sharing your deepest, darkest secrets. So if you have any tea to spill, DM me on Instagram at 730 Tea with Ree, and you spell that 730 WITHTEARIE. Or you can DM me on my main Instagram account at Rihanna Flores. You spell that RIEANNAFLORES. And if you wish to be anonymous, please let me know. Stories should be up to 500 words or less. And if you want to send an audio voice message instead of typing out your story, please keep it up to 5 minutes max. But anyways, we're going to get into today's episode, which I'm really excited for because we have a guest joining us. Now, this guest is a very special guest because he is actually my college bestie from college. My best friend from college. His name is Nicholas Agrenzone. He's really cool. He does a lot of content creating. He also does a lot of filming. He's really talented. And I'm going to hand it over to Nick here. So introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, my name is Nick. I'm a filmmaker. I create content on the interwebs. And today I'm going to be talking about how I was stranded with 25 strangers in Los Angeles. What a title. Okay. So do I just get into it?
Yeah, I want to get right into it. I haven't heard this tea yet, you guys, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, I made her wait.
I haven't seen him in forever. He made me wait for this because he wanted my genuine reaction.
Yes.
Which I appreciate, because I wanted a genuine reaction with you guys. So I'm going to let you tell the story.
Okay, I'll take it away.
I'll hand it over.
So, yeah, I moved to LA with pretty much no plan in mind. I did have some money saved. I was kind of saving through jobs and gigs and stuff. And I really didn't know what for. I just was saving money. Mm-hmm. But I guess the main question is, why did I move to LA? What compelled me, especially if you're in the film industry, the writers and actors are on strike now. So probably like, why would you even think of going? But honestly, I felt for a long time, I've traveled a little bit here and there, but I've always wanted to just plop myself somewhere and just live there and see what happens. I think, while we're still young, and I mean, you could do it at any age, but while I have like the freedom and not too many responsibilities, I wanted to do it now while I had the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I honestly felt like I was called to go there. I had like a very specific like gut feeling that I needed to do this now. It was going to be like now or never.
Like an intuition kind of thing.
It was a very powerful feeling.
I feel that.
So I, did my research online, and I actually looked at some hostels, which if you don't know what a hostel is, it's living with strangers, which for many people, they're probably thinking, what the hell are you thinking?
Right.
Not the safest or, most logical option, but regardless, it's a great way to visit somewhere or travel for cheap. So I was doing my research and I came across this one place, who I won't say the name of, but they
gatekeeping.
but they were a specific hostel for filmmakers and musicians. So I'm like, wow, like this is so in line with what I'm on. I feel like that's really like it was a confirmation that this message was meant towards me and I was meant to go there. Especially when I looked on their website and they were doing like a 50% off deal. So I ended up paying, I think, only $350, $400 for the month, which in LA, actually anywhere because inflation.
Yeah.
But in LA is insane.
Yeah.
So I, just, I don't know what the expression is, but I just took the chance. I booked the hostel. I got the plane tickets, and I actually didn't really tell anyone until like a few days in advance, including Ree.
Yeah. You messaged me, you were like, yeah, I'm moving to LA. I'm like, what the fuck are you
Yeah,
doing?
I literally just, that's pretty much how I did it. Some people I didn't even tell. But yeah, it was definitely interesting because I didn't tell my family same thing until like a few days before. So they're like, what the hell? Like you're moving across the country, living with strangers, and we have like 48 hours to prepare for all this. So that was definitely a wild ride. So now I guess I'll transition to getting to LA. So first off, I thought I was going to miss my flight because I underestimated New York traffic, and I was stuck in like one specific area of the Bronx for an hour, like an hour and a half. So barely made my flight, get on there, but I think I watched Avatar 2 on the way down there. Fantastic movie. But yeah, I had a lot of anxiety like right before the trip.
Yeah.
I didn't have too many when I was like booking everything. I think it was kind of like in that high, but as the date was getting closer and closer and closer, I was like,
Really fucking like shitting yourself.
Exactly. Yeah,
I would be.
I don't know anyone in LA. Well, I didn't know anyone. Now I do. But I didn't know anyone in LA, so it's like I have no safe haven. Like
Right.
if I'm really all by
Like
myself.
fully out of your comfort zone.
100%.
Yeah.
But once I got on that plane, just all the anxiety alleviated. I'm like, okay, I'm here. We're doing this. There's quite
It was
literally.
reality.
I'm in the air. I'm physically in the air. So there's
like there's no going back. now.
there's quite literally no
It's
going
weird.
back.
For reference, guys, too, Nick is from Connecticut and I'm from Long Island. Just in case you guys wanted that reference, wait, go on.
Oh yeah,
though.
I should have
You're-
said that.
No,
East
no,
Coast.
you're good. East Coast energy. Yes. But you're in the air flying.
I'm in the air flying. So finally, I hop off the plane at LAX with a dream and a cardigan. I didn't have a cardigan, but I did have a dream.
That's all that matters.
But anyway, so I hop off LAX, I get my suitcase and all that, and it already starts off an interesting ride. So this is my first night in LA. So first off, you can't just get an Uber straight from the airport. You have to go on a bus to go to a specific Uber drop off. So I'm stuck here figuring out like finding this bus for 40 minutes because I'm just
To get to the Uber?
to get to this Uber drop off because I'm incompetent.
Oh no, I wouldn't know what to do.
So I finally get on this bus to this Uber drop off, get the Uber, and I'm on my way to this hospital. I'm on the way. So previously I was in contact with the owner and some of the managers to tell them, hey, I'm going to be here at this time because they wanted to confirm to, have someone on site
Yeah.
to let me in. Right?
Yeah.
Right. Foreshadowing. We love to hear it. So I'm texting the owner and the manager that was supposed to be on site, like, hey, I'm on the way. I'm on the way to the location, and silence. Silence. Absolute silence. So I'm like, what? So I'm spam texting. I'm calling them. I don't give a damn. I'm blowing up their phone.
Well, yeah.
Finally, the one manager that was supposed to be on site was like, I'm actually not on site. So let me connect you with someone else. So now I'm blowing up this person's phone. So basically, I'm like spam calling, but no one's getting back to me. So finally, I'm like, damn near having an anxiety attack in the Uber. Finally, I get to the place and I'm fully prepared. Like I'm stranded. I'm stranded in Los Angeles.
Oh my fucking god!
I looked up and I'll talk about the location later, but there was like an IHOP across the street. So I'm like, am I just gonna have to kick it in the IHOP? No. But thankfully there were these two guys like literally out front in the hostel. Shout out to G if you're watching. He actually is the one that let me in. Cause I literally just pulled up with 2 suitcases with a backpack, like the backpack kid. And he's like, "Oh, are you like moving in?" I was like, "Yeah." So because there was like 2, it wasn't someplace you could just like open. Obviously, there were 2 gate code things. So it's like if you don't have that, you're not getting in.
And they never gave you any codes beforehand?
Nope.
What the?
They were supposed to give me.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So, him and another friend, they let me in, and I'm just kind of like taking everything in. It's definitely a new environment, as you could imagine.
Yeah.
I'll give you like a little bit of a layout. So there's 2 office spaces. There's a bougie office, and then there's a not so good office. There was a filming studio, so that was really nice. Mm-hmm. We used it a handful of times. There obviously is a kitchen, bathrooms, there's a little game room area, and then finally we get to the bedrooms.
What happened?
It wasn't the worst, but it was just interesting.
Did you get your own?
No.
Oh, shit!
We're getting there now. So basically, I meet up with another manager who apparently appears out of nowhere. I guess there's like another manager. So he shows up and he's just confused. He's like, "Who are you? Like, why are you?" He was not prepared. I'm like, "I told you I was coming here."
Right.
So he's like, "Okay." And he's like trying to figure out like who I am. And then he finally recognizes, "Oh, okay, you're Nick." So he kind of gives me all of the information and he shows me to my room. I can't even say it's kind of like college. It's like college adjacent. But
I was
like
going to say, it sounds like that. Because you never dormed either. You commuted when we were in college.
I dormed my freshman year, and I guess technically I kind of dormed. I had like a house situation.
Bit.
Yeah.
Yes. But this is like the full thing.
This isn't even
this
college.
This is like just fucking adult.
This is literally, I'm going to say 10 to 15 people in a room. It was like bunk beds.
In one room?
Yep.
I would be so scared. Like, who's gonna touch me in my sleep?
That was a concern, which we'll come to later.
Oh, fuck! Oh my god, go on, sorry. Oh, shit.
So he shows me my room, and I'm in the middle bunk, because I think that there's a person above me. We'll get to that at the end. But it's fine. It is, obviously, it looks like 25 people live there. I don't know the exact total, but like probably 25, 30, whatever. But it was decent. Like, it was a pretty good place. So then I, get myself situated. I start meeting my roommates, the people I'm going to be living with. And all of them, I always say this when I'm telling this story. If it was not for the roommates, I would have been out. I would have been out the first night.
Well, yeah. After all that.
Yeah. But I really, really lucked out with my roommates. Most of them were just really incredible people. And I think it helps that we were all kind of like in the same space. Like, we're all creatives, and they were all kind of like around my age, like early, mid, late 20s, some early 30s. There were a few older people, but not too many, and they were cool. But anyway, I guess they were having a little party situation in the game room. Uh-huh. They were just playing beer pong. They had like liquor bottles. They had, I don't know, it's just like a cool little kickback sort of thing. So met everyone, partied with them a little bit. The time change was also pretty intense too because it's 3 hours behind East Coast time.
Yeah.
So I think I went to bed at like 3 a.m., 2 a.m., but like East Coast time, that's like 6 in the morning.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. So that was the first night, almost getting stranded and partying with strangers.
It's a lot. It's a lot so far. Holy shit.
So, I guess I'll get into my adventures of Los Angeles.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. So, the first thing I really did, I'll give like a little layout of the outdoor location of it, or like where I was. So, the next day I kind of just like took in my surroundings, was like, oh, where am I? It was actually a really, really good location. There was, like I said, an IHOP across the street, a 7-Eleven. It was open 24 hours. There was Ralph's, which is a grocery store literally around the corner. There's, I forget what it is. It's like a fashion institute. Mm-hmm. You might have heard of it. But there was that literally around the corner. There was like a little park area that I would meditate, journal all the time.
Oh, that's cute.
They had like a bunch of coffee shops, and they also had like public transport because I didn't bring my car there. So I'm just relying on the bus and the subway, which is actually better than I thought, surprisingly.
I was going to say, because I'm not used. I take my car for everything. Even in the city, I never take the bus. Or what the bus? In the train, I mean. Yeah. I never take the train. I don't know, it scares me. There's some strange people on there.
You drive in New York City?
Yeah, I drive in New York City. I'm not taking that train for shit. I hear about the stabbings all the time. I'm not fucking going on that train.
I mean, good for you.
But that's just me personally.
Because I can't drive in New York. I'll crash into someone.
I don't mind it. I'll do it. I'll stick it out and I'll hand it back to them. Go on, go with your
Love this. Love the threats. But in general, it is a very walkable city. I was in downtown Los Angeles, for reference point. So, the first night, I really connected with this dude named Juan. He also creates content online. He makes videos on YouTube, and he also makes music as well. So we kind of like connected really off the bat. So literally the next day, we got our cameras and we headed towards the subway to go to Santa Monica. Pretty chill time. We just explored downtown. He took me to this really, really nice ice cream shop. I forget the name, but it was so nice.
Jealous.
We kind of just explore around the area. We go to the beach, obviously.
Yeah.
We go to the beach. There's like a little cafe if you walk a little bit down where we were. And I was just taking it all, and I'm like, dude, I'm editing my videos on the beach right now.
In LA.
Like, I had, what was it, a pina colada. I had my laptop out. I was typing away, literally like looking at me. I see the beach and just the people playing volleyball, and I'm like, ugh, this is how life is supposed to be.
Yeah.
This is what we deserve.
Yes, yeah.
So that was a pretty cool, like, introduction. And then I'll talk about the first night that I went out, it was again with Lon, but he was also going out with some of the other roommates, and this is where I met my other friends, Aaron, Esther, and Maxwell. So they were all going out to the bungalow in Santa Monica because G, who I mentioned earlier, was actually a bouncer at that club. So we were just going to see him and kind of just explore what was happening. So, nothing too crazy happened there. It was a nice club, but honestly, the DJ sucked. He started off so hard with early 2010 EDM bangers. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
You know, some, like a G6, some Akon.
Yeah, like a G6?
We love to hear it. And then he just shifted it. I'm like, oh,
what?
Okay.
I hate when that happens.
It was had a nice bar, a nice little dancing area outside. It was cool. And then later that night, we went to another place. I didn't know this at the time, but it was like a rave, a mini rave. I was sober. I mean, I had a few drinks, but like I was sober from other stuff. Other people weren't. They were on,
Oh, shit.
like, ecstasy, Molly. Like, it was one of those.
At the same time?
Maybe, I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know.
I know
But
people do in LA.
it was literally in a warehouse. I mean, the music was banging. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
And then so it was me, Juan, Aaron, and Esther. I think Maxwell went somewhere else, but pretty much Juan and I, because no one was dancing. They were playing good songs. We saw this this little table area. We just got on there and started dancing our asses off.
Ooh.
Because no one else was doing it.
Well,
So
yeah,
so
as
we
you
had
you
to.
got up on the table and everything?
Yup.
I love that
We were,
for you.
and everyone was looking, and then everyone else started to dance, and then everyone started going on the table, and I'm like, well, that's not fun anymore.
Oh.
So yeah, that was a time.
Yeah. Time to be alive. Time to be alive.
It really was.
Yes.
I also went on a date
Ooh.
in Santa
Let's
Monica.
go. I want to hear this.
I had a little Los Angeles girlfriend.
A little shebang, a little
Not really.
boo thing. Kind of. You know, like your vacation boo. You know what I mean?
Somewhat.
Somewhat.
So I downloaded Bumble reluctantly. I'm usually pretty against dating apps, but like I'm literally in a new area, so like what the hell? I mean, you could always go outside and meet people. That's a great option. But I mean, like, I don't know, I kind of want to explore different parts, and you know, it just seemed fine. So I matched with this girl, and everything was like very aligned, I would say. You know, we had the same sort of beliefs about spirituality, our relationship with God. Just, we had a very engaging conversation, which I find kind of hard with people in general. So the fact that this was happening like right off the bat, I was like, oh, okay, this is nice. So we were talking for a little bit, like a couple of days, and then I'm just the type of person where it's like, hey, like, let's just have this conversation in person.
Yep.
So we went on a date. I'm trying to think. I think it's called Kings and Queens.
The name of the place?
Yeah, that was the name of
I kind of like that.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting title.
Is it like a restaurant or like a...
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cute. I don't know if it was like a bar or something, or some kind of casual coffee shop. I don't know what they have out there. Like, they have a mix of things.
They
you know what I mean?
do.
Like, they got stuff there.
they got stuff. But yeah, funny enough, we were actually supposed to meet somewhere else, and I like tried to reserve it, but it's Santa Monica, so it got booked up. So we got at this other place, I forget what it's called, but they're basically like, yeah, it's gonna be like a 2-hour wait. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, let's just go somewhere else. So
right.
That's the place we ended up going. But it was a Mexican place. I got a burrito. I think she got tacos or something. It was nice, but it was definitely more of a casual thing that I would have liked. But it was a cool thing. It was so loud. Like, imagine like 15, 30, probably even like 50 people like yelling.
How'd y'all converse?
We literally just had to like
to scream.
Pretty much. Like, we had to enunciate.
That's not the worst though. That's an excuse to get closer. It'd be like, I can't hear you.
I can't
Oh my
hear
god,
you.
come closer. I just can't hear you.
You see,
Lean in.
I mean, hey, you're not wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm gonna be honest, on the date, like, she was great, and we both had we had a very good conversation. Like, it bounced pretty easily, but honestly, I could just tell it wasn't gonna be like my wife or like the love of my life. Or it was, and that's not like I'm not digging on her. It's just like, when, I don't know. I just got friendship vibes.
Yeah, more friendship vibes. Got you.
But it was a good conversation. I had fun. She had fun. And then that was kind of it. It actually came out to like, I don't know why I didn't think this through, but it came out to like $100, which I was so shocked because it was literally just like a burrito, some tacos. We both got like a margarita. Wow. So I'm like, I think they gave like chips and salsa, but still, like, what the hell?
That's a lot of money. I thought
know.
It would at least be like maybe 50 or 60.
But then I like use critical thinking. I'm like, oh, it's Santa Monica private beach. Like, obviously they're gonna upcharge.
Yeah.
But I had fun, and then we actually went to the ice cream place that I mentioned before too. It was a cute little date.
Yeah.
After like a couple of days or so, I never heard from her again. So if you're listening,
she stopped talking, or her? I mean, or you? Sorry.
I think I was the last one to send something, and then she.
So it fizzled out.
Yeah.
Damn.
So if you're watching this, call me. No, I'm kidding. No, wait. I hope you have a good rest of your life. Oh, I got to tell you about this. So, fun story. I actually did kind of know someone in LA. He was from Connecticut, but he moved out here moved out there like 2 years ago, I want to say. Mm-hmm. And we had known each other for like 5 years, but we never met in person. I feel like that's normal in Connecticut. Like, you just know a bunch of creatives, but you never meet in person. It's a weird thing.
Yes.
But
Connecticut is strange.
it's a very odd place.
It's strange for sure.
Strange, bizarre, peculiar. So I tell him that I'm going to be out there, and he ends up inviting me to his birthday party. So I was like, oh, okay. Wow. I forgot where specifically in LA, but I think it was like Van Hughes, something. It began Van News. I don't know, something.
Sounds exclusive.
Some
When it has Van in front of it, I don't know.
it was pretty far out. So we Uber, Juan and I go there because I had a +1. So we go out there, and it was a very cool like kickback. It was literally just like in his apartment. I was playing Mario Kart. I was absolute ass at it. I was getting destroyed.
Damn, how do you suck at that?
I don't know, but I did. I found a way. But in my defense, it was like an older Mario Kart, like one I had never played. And also I found out that the Wii was like disconnected, so fun times. But anyway, that was really fun. He was part of a band, so the band played. Shout out to Abe and Mandela. Shout out to them. And then I guess the last kind of like night out was West Hollywood.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. Hollywood. Let's go. West Hollywood. So we went to this karaoke bar. The same group, Juan, Aaron, Esther, Maxwell, and a few of his friends. So the DJ was also, I don't know what it is with these DJs. Also a weird thing about LA, you don't have to pay to get into the club.
What?
Which is so weird. I know, right?
That actually is so crazy because you would think you would have to. They overprice everything. I'm pretty sure their gas is $7 going up. So I'm like, how?
No, literally. Even one of my friends, Aaron, he set us all up with this, like the same event that had the rave. I guess you can like text a certain number and they give you like text notifications of like parties that are happening, and they're all like free of charge.
I think I've heard of those. What are they called? Promoters or something?
No, not even promoters. It was literally just like a email or a text subscription thing.
Oh, just subscriptions, not like... Damn.
It was weird, but...
That's really shocking.
I'm not complaining.
Well, yeah, you can do whatever you want. Like...
Yeah. the DJ kept dubbing Juan and I songs. Juan eventually got to go, but he had to change the song like 3 times because the DJ just couldn't find it. Which, I mean, okay. And then my song just never got played. I was going to sing Locked Out of Heaven by Bruno Mars. And I would have been damn good at it too. But I never got my time to shine. So anyway, after a while we left there and then we go to the Abbey. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a pretty bigger club in Los Angeles. So we go in there, again, don't have to pay. We literally just show our IDs and we go in.
Fuck?
I know, right? Like, even in some Connecticut or East Coast club, like, you have to pay a cover. And I guess depending on, like, the time you go or, like, where it is, like, they have a cover. But I never had to pay a damn thing.
That's so nice.
But yeah, it was a lot. I mean, it was nothing insane, like a bunch of people dancing. It was fun. I had a fun time. And that was kind of like my last hurrah of like going out. You know, it was fun. I had a fun time. So then let's talk about the crazy roommates and the reality of living in Los Angeles.
Yeah, because I want to hear about the roommates part. Because you said, I mentioned about what if someone touched you. I want to know what happened. Okay.
No one touched me.
Okay.
However.
That's good. ...
You
touched someone? I'm kidding. The roles are reversed. I'm just kidding.
Surprise. But, yeah, there was, and I never told anyone this too. I kind of purposely left this part out, so you're literally getting the exclusive.
Holy tell me.
So, the homeless people were very common there, and they honestly were pretty cool. Like, they never bothered me, but it was very common for like the police to be outside of my residence and just see like the police like either helping someone or just like trying to figure out what to do, or there was like some crime happening. Is either like in front of my house or like across, mainly because of the homeless problem, but also because one instance was, I guess, one of the managers came inside. I was about to go out to this to some party I was going to, and one of the managers came up and she was like, so don't go outside because I just had to call the police on someone because they are trying to break in.
Oh my god.
Yep. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It was pretty safe because, like I said, they had like that double security code.
Yeah.
So like they don't know the code, but still, I mean, like
That's
I was planning to
scary.
go out. Like I just imagine someone like trying to like rattle the fucking door.
Yeah. Or like, I don't know. You could have easily been jumped.
I could have. I think someone actually did get jumped. Someone did. But I'm not saying that like no one deserves to get jumped. But he was
No.
like putting like his phone in their face, and they told him like
Oh.
cut it out, and it's like, come on.
Yeah.
So someone did get jumped.
Yeah, not like he deserved it, but he
It's like what?
kind of asked for it.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
Did you like go in groups every time you went out and stuff, or did you go out by yourself,
I mean, I would usually go out with my friends, but there were some times where I was just like,
like late at night?
yeah, I was just like, I'm out here. Like, I would go to the grocery store, and the homeless people would be like out there too. People were definitely doing deals.
I mean, Gun, you're like a tall man, so like you can get away with that. I feel like
I suppose. I mean, I'll take
like
that.
it's easier for you. Like you can just flick them or
Flick 'em.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, we had that, and then I had one of the roommates call the cops on the place themselves
Oh shit.
for, I mean, I don't know the whole altercation, but what I've been told is their alarm like kept going off, and someone like physically like jattled them, like turn that shit off, like blah blah blah. And I heard like, I remember I was waking up one morning, I heard like yelling, like this dude was going off. He's like, what the fuck? Like going off at one of the managers. And I'm gonna be honest, like hearing his side, I do agree with most of like what he was saying, because the whole thing was like, oh, what do you mean I can't have an alarm in my room, or I can't set my alarm? And the manager was kind of having an attitude being like, I shouldn't have to explain this, instead of giving like a clear, concise answer. So I understand why he was upset. However, when I came home from the gym and I saw the police at my door and he's just sitting there being like talking to them, I'm like, come on, that's crazy. It was just like, I did not expect it that much. And then let's pivot. So there was a dude there, and he was actually harmless, but it was just like the first time this occurred, it took me for a loop. He was like pacing back and forth up and down the hallway, kind of like talking to himself. Yeah. It's weird. Yeah, I feel like that sounds crazy, but it's like when you're in that environment, you kind of get used to it. You're like, you're like, oh, he's just talking to himself.
Yeah.
And low-key,
like,
I'd be
he's
doing
just doing his thing again.
low-key, I'd be doing that too. So like, you know, good for him for saying the quiet part out loud,
old or
I guess.
young?
He was like 35. But he was very short too, so it's just like a short older man just like But he was really cool though.
Right.
So it was just like
He just
everyone
lost
had their
himself.
quirks.
Yeah.
And then there was another lady, which is where the, I guess not touching, but like the abruption comes in. So thank God this lady was not in my room. She was in my two friends' room, who told me that this lady, and I don't want to make fun of her because like clearly this is a trauma response to something, I would assume, but she would like say things out loud like in her sleep and like start screaming.
Oh my god.
Like screaming in her sleep, like talking about like very personal details. And my only encounter with her is when I was in the kitchen and she just like walked in to get something and she just starts going, whoa, 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 whoa. Like starts like trying to freestyle.
To
like
rap?
Yeah.
Wrapping her trauma?
Trying. Stop it. But no, she literally, it wasn't even like words, it was just woo, 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 woo. It was something like that. And then I was like, I'll have this later. I'll have my food later. So I go in my,
her?
I did not participate. So I saw her like going up and down, like kind of like talking to herself,
Right.
like saying very specific details. And I'm like, is she gonna pull up? Is she gonna like say something? Like, I don't know. Like at that point, I wasn't really nervous most of the time, but that was the few instances where I'm like, is she about to do something?
Right.
She never did, but it was like, again, that was a very shocking. Like, I wasn't there for the scream, but like she was like yelling. Mm-hmm. It was insane. Yeah, I think that was kind of it for the roommates, but just some general information. The kitchen was disgusting, revolting. Like, it would get clogged all the time, and it was like filled up to the brim with like nasty water. I cooked a few times there, but after I just saw how dirty, I'm like, nah. And also, some people wouldn't pick after themselves. I'm like, y'all are too grown to be doing that. But anyway, yeah, I ended up just like eating out most of the time, just like because again I had the grocery store right there, so I get like these like chicken Caesar wraps and call it a day because I'm not touching that, I'm not cooking that. There's some sort of contamination. No, thank you. There was also a bed bugs packet.
What?
Yup.
What?
I never actually. I don't know if I ever got bed bugs. I don't think so.
I'm like, get away from me. I'm just fucking kidding.
Get out. But, yeah, I saw the packet, like, one of the first nights I was there. I was like, I'm really out here. And I guess I met another roommate briefly who was, because I was, like, filming around somewhere and I was, like, coming in or whatever. And I guess they were in the middle of a lawsuit with this place because of bed bugs, just, like, not keeping up to code with like the health, whatever. Yeah, so I'm like, I'm out here. I'm really out here. So now to pivot. Why did I leave?
Why did you leave?
Why did I leave? Now, despite all that, I actually had a really incredible time. Like I said in the beginning I was called to be here, and I definitely understand why. It takes a lot to just, like, plop yourself there.
Yes.
And, it showed me a different reality than what I was used to. Clearly, I got a taste.
You got a fucking taste. You got a, my God, you had a meal. You got a meal.
I had a meal, but... So, the main reasons were... Honestly, I know this sounds like common sense, but the writers and actors strike affected me so much more than I thought it would. I kind of had the, I guess, like, idea that I would join just like a bunch of short films, like student films, and I was like, oh, it's time for independent filmmakers to rise. We were not rising. It's one thing if I just like wasn't getting jobs, but there was just like no jobs to be had. Yeah. Like I would constantly be like in cafes typing like job searches or searching for jobs like in my field, like for freelance and stuff like that, and there would just be like nothing. Or if there were, it would be like $50 for the day. I'm like, who is that? Who is that feeding? So I knew if I wanted to live there like long term, I would have to like get a job, like a real job.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind, but it's just like, I don't know. I feel like I was, I had that same feeling that I was supposed to be there. I had that same feeling like I experienced what I needed to experience in that time.
Yeah.
And that it was time to either go home or go somewhere else. And also, I honestly felt creatively limited, which is weird because you would think LA, it's like this huge creative like epiphany. Like there's so much going on there. But I don't know if it was just because I didn't have a car or I honestly was not getting enough sleep too. I was always waking up tired because I was staying out past my bedtime. But I don't know. I just felt that I didn't want to film anything really. I was kind of I didn't have the energy. And another thing also, and this isn't against anyone, everyone's on their own pace.
Yeah.
But I think I'm in a season of my life where I just want to like go, 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 go. Yeah. And LA is very relaxed, which may work for some people, but I found that a lot of people that I was like working with or like kind of collaborating with, they were on a slower pace and like they didn't mind taking their time, which is great for them. But for me, like I wanted to be out every day doing something.
Yeah. Getting stuff done.
I just felt like my energy was off and that because because I was editing a video that I was working on, and I just looked so dead.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, damn, I can't put this out here.
Yeah.
And so, and I also just miss the fall, to be honest. I love the fall. I love, like, the seasons changing. So, I decided that I was just going to keep it at that month and then go back. And I love my friends there. They threw me a little farewell picnic in the park.
Aw, that's cute.
I know, it was so cute. I was like, oh, this for me. And yeah, when my Uber came to like bring me to the airport, we all like hugged it out. Mm-hmm. It was
so cute.
Yeah, there were definitely some downsides, but overall, I am so glad that I went, and I'm so proud of myself for actually putting myself out there. Right. And I guess this kind of leads to like, where am I at today? So I suppose I'm still back in Connecticut, but honestly, that experience and that trip really did change my life and my perspective on a lot of things. Yeah. To where I'm like, even, I'm still not completely done with Los Angeles. I think after December, after the writers and actors strike is over, I'm probably gonna go back. And this time I'm gonna drive back. I'm gonna bring my car because that was a wild ride.
Like drive there?
Yeah.
But oh my god, that's gonna be. You know what? That's gonna be kind of fun though.
Don't quote me on that.
It's kind of crazy.
Don't quote me on that, but that's
I was gonna say it's long.
That's the plan. But it taught me. I'm in Connecticut. I was taking a lot of things for granted. Like the city, New York City, is literally 2 hours away. One of the most popular cities in the world. Boston is 2 hours away. Rhode Island, Providence is 2 hours away. Philadelphia, which actually my friend Lon is from, is like 4 hours away. There's so much that I just wasn't taking advantage of. And that trip taught me in particular, like, you need to be outside of your house. You need to be outside. You can't just be in your comfort zone, in the same like surrounding 4 or 5 towns. You need to be, you need to have the initiative to drive like an hour out to visit New York City more often. It's such a privilege and an opportunity that I wasn't taking action on. And this experience taught me that I need to be more, I just need to be outside and like meeting more people and actually, being a young man in my early 20s and like having fun. Exactly. But I just wanted to leave like a little message for all of y'all who are watching. Book that ticket. Book that flight. Book that place. Just because even though I'm back in Connecticut now and I was only there for like a month or so, I am so glad and proud of myself again for taking that chance, because I had doubts. I had moments where I was like, oh, should I just like, not go on here? Should I just like waste my money and just stay safe? Because again, I didn't know anyone really when I was going out there. It was, no one really in my family had traveled that far. But, I definitely can say now that I would have had more regrets if I didn't take that chance. And I would have had that dreaded question that I know we all have from time to time, what if? Yeah. That dreaded what if, where that you could have had an opportunity and maybe it would have gone wrong. Maybe you wouldn't have liked it, but at least you would have known for yourself instead of like constantly pondering of all the good things that could have came from it. So I think we have a tendency to like talk ourselves out of things. So if you have that place you want to go to, if you have that place you want to stay at, if you always have wondered, what if I did this? Just do it. And I know we have, all of us have like different privileges or different responsibilities, so it may be easier said than done. But, I think we don't recognize how in control of our lives that we are.
Yes.
And, it is going to take like small actionable changes of like, oh, what job will work around my schedule? What do I need to get a remote job? What lifestyle do I want, and how do I take steps to achieve that? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people are sometimes too scared to do that, or they're they're so comfortable in a lifestyle they can't imagine a reality outside of that. Yes. But please, and even if you don't want to, go to LA and live with 25 strangers, I know that's it's a very interesting thing to do.
Right.
But, I guess the purpose of the story is like, do something that's out of your comfort zone. It can be anything. And I think that's all I have to say, unless you have any questions
I
for
do.
I. Okay.
I have I feel like you answered a good amount of the ones that I do have, but one of the biggest questions I definitely have, like, what's like the biggest thing that you learned about yourself from being there? Like, what's something where, you know, in this experience you kind of realize, wow, this part of me really changed, or like, this is something I really took away as like the biggest thing?
That's a really good question.
Yeah,
first of all.
if you could narrow it down, if you could, you know, think of like a specific,
Yeah.
what would you say?
Truthfully, I had been doing years of self-work, so I think I was kind of surprised. I thought I would have like a drastic change when I was out there, but for
Yeah.
the most part, I was similar. But to answer your question, something that was definitely heightened was, I guess, my independence
Yes.
and my resourcefulness. I didn't have family out there, really. I mean, I guess technically I have my brother who's in Denver, but still that's a flight. Like, no one
Yeah.
like really that close in LA. So I really had to, if there was a situation, I had to deal with it myself. I
Yeah.
couldn't really rely on anyone, and I'm grateful to have people that could have helped me out if I needed it. But I think something that I learned about this is, like, I can do it. I can do whatever
Yes.
I want. I can do. I have the ability, and that's why I was talking about earlier. Like, we have so much power as human beings to live the life that we're meant to live.
Yes.
Because I was nervous in the beginning. I was like, can I even handle this? I mean, like, I was saving money and I had enough, a decent amount of finances, but it's like, LA is LA. I don't know, like, really how expensive things are going to be. And, maybe there will be things that, like, come up. There are some things that did come up, clearly, but I was able to adapt. I was able to, work well with the situation I was in.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess I had more faith in myself and my abilities. And I know if I can make it in downtown LA, I can make it anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say you handled everything with grace with a lot of things, especially arriving there and like not knowing like who's gonna get you,
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is a crazy story.
It is.
It is. It's an experience a lot of people, they wish they would just go ahead and go through with something. I know a lot of people, they, have 9-to-5 jobs. A lot of people, even, sometimes people have texted me during their job and they're like, hey, like, I want to go ahead and, like, do this, but I'm debating it. There's a whole bunch of people, like, even myself, when I was working, like, full-time jobs, I remember it used to be literally around, like, between 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., I used to be sometimes in my headspace of, like, oh my god, why am I doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, actually not even go through with it until now. I actually finally feel more out of my comfort zone. Doing this podcast and stuff like that. I finally do feel, like how you mentioned before, feeling in control. I actually feel that more now at this age. Sometimes it takes just a little bit of a reality check or a little breakthrough. Like, sometimes you may just get a random breakthrough where for once, one day you wake up and you actually just feel like, oh shit, like, why am I actually doing this? Like, you snap yourself out of it,
Right.
and then it makes you want to just have that spark. So it kind of sounds like you had something similar where you were like, why am I really just laying here? Like, let me just go to LA and actually do, which is, it's an amazing thing when that happens, because there's so many things that just completely out of fear, like you said. Some people are fearful of, like, the unknown, but when you really think about it, you're never going to know your outcome for anything.
Right, 100%.
You're never, ever going to know. So many people always want to know answers to things. It's like if you go to a psychic. Of course, people can give you answers. I mean, I myself, y'all, I told you guys that I am a medium. I do spiritual things and stuff like that. And
Okay.
I have given predictions. I've done things like that. But the future can still change, At any given point, you can change your things sometimes. So you'll never know what will happen until you try and put yourself out there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Also, shout out to Ree. Shout out to your host, because I've known her for like 5 years now, and I've seen like the great change in her and just starting this podcast and how much she loves it. And just how much she's putting into it. So I really am proud of you.
Thank
for
you.
starting it.
I'm also proud of you.
But no, I completely agree that I think a lot of people also, when they try something new, and I'm guilty of this as well, is they think of the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
They think of like, oh, I go out there and I'm broke and like I'm on the side of the street. I almost was, but that's besides the point. But you know, just as much as there's obviously negative things and things that you should be careful with, and you know, precautions you should take, there's also a list of positives. And again, to reiterate, we don't understand our true power, and I think we surprise ourselves with how easy we're able to adapt to situations when they really are put in front of us.
Yes.
Like, yeah, there are certain challenges that may seem overwhelming, but we are more equipped than we give ourselves credit for. And also, to go off of your point, I think a lot of people live their lives as if it already ended. And
Oh my God, yeah.
I find that common with, you know, older people, but even people our age. It's like they'll say things like, oh, I want to do this, but I want to do this, but, and again, there's different, like, you know, it depends on your responsibilities and what you have going on, but you can make a decent actionable plan of like to live the life you want, but it's something you have to do with intention. It's something you have to be very proactive with and you know, really hold yourself accountable for, but it can be done. And I guess something I've learned through this is that I refuse to live my life on the terms of other people. I refuse to live my life through the perception of others. That's something I've been very, I guess, more aware of how other people perceive me and how I allowed other people's expectations of me to like put me in a box for so long.
That's how I've been feeling too.
Yeah, and I think as long as you are checking in with yourself and you know, look, this is something I want to do, and this is something that I am willing to sacrifice, and that that I'm happy, that's all that matters.
Yes. Amen to that. Amen. I love that. We're actually going to leave off on that note because I love that note to end off on. But, oh my God, thanks so much for telling us your really, really wild ride of a story, and also all of the, you know, things you learn and everything and the experience. It's good for people to hear that, especially people who debate taking that step out of their comfort zone. So thank you for today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. But we're going to clear out all of the energy that we just let out today. So we're going to do our sound healing session. So sit back, lie down, relax, shut your eyes, take a deep breath in from your nose and out from your mouth. And I'm going to play. All right, guys, thank you so much for today. Nick, thank you so much again for being here and everything.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. And I will see you guys next week. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Goodbye.